What are we getting to this morning?
Well, coming up after 9 o'clock today, we're talking about an event which is happening in Stroud, and it's an art exhibition with a bit of a difference. You're going to hear about the incredible and really bizarre ways that people try to alter their appearance online. So things like face bras and nasal inserts and even duck beaks are used to try and change your face, to push things in, push things up and out and lift, all apparently to make yourself look better. And this is a massive thing that's happening at the moment, especially in Korea as well. Apparently plastic surgery is very big over there, and so it's to basically make your online appearance look better. And Joe Sutherst, who is a local artist, is actually looking at the darker side of this and how this can affect anxiety and depression, especially in young people who are growing up with social media. So we're going to be talking about that, hearing more about the exhibition, having a bit of a laugh with it as well, because some of the things that Joe has been using are very comical, as you will hear after 9 o'clock. Something completely different. There is an art exhibition in Stroud which is exploring the incredible and bizarre ways people alter their appearance for social media. Photographer Joe Sutherst has used comics and props to explore the world of media-generated selfies. So last night I went along to Lansdowne Gallery to see for myself and to have a chat to Joe.
Hi, I'm Joe Sutherst and I'm a photographer. I'm also a teacher at Chosen Hill School in Gloucester. I have an exhibition on in Stroud at the Lansdowne Hall. It's called Fractal Identities and it's part of my MA photography. And I'm looking at how social media affects people and the pressures that they might feel as they go through. And as someone who has...
Well, hey, that's the champagne opening.
Someone who has a medical condition that affects the way they look. So I have to take steroids every day. I have something called Addison's disease, and steroids every day make me, obviously I've put on weight since I've been on the steroids. I can't control my body temperature. So my appearance isn't as perfect as perhaps Instagram or Facebook or Twitter might want us to be.
All of us use the polished photographs online. Come on. I mean, all right, 99% of us do. But you don't. You say before you did this, you just are online as you are everyday Joe.
I would say before I started this project, because I'm not someone who likes their own photo taken, before I did this project, I probably wouldn't have put out very many photos of me at all. But my friends always like to take selfies and put them up, and I think, oh my goodness me, what do I look like? But since starting this project, I have put photos of me on Facebook, on Instagram in particular, that I might look at and think, oh my goodness me, I don't like the way my face looks. I look like I've got 100 chins. I look really chubby. And then I think to myself, hang on a second, Joe. This is who you are. You are real. You were born to be real. You weren't born to be perfect. And I think we just need to accept who we are. And working with young people in school, I see far too many people coming through with anxiety and depression and mental health issues because they're trying to be someone they're not.
The exhibition that you've got here, you said you don't like your photograph taken. Well, Joe, there must be about 100 photographs of you in this room right now. And some of them are very big. How big's this one next to us?
That one is A1.
So what size is A1 for listeners at home?
Far too big. It's just under a metre tall, about half a metre wide.
And this is just a natural photograph of you with your hair down?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
How do you feel about seeing that now?
When I first put it up, it was quite scary. I mean, the first thing was when I came back from the printers, I opened it and looked at it and just went, oh my goodness, I can't believe I printed it that big. But then now it's on the wall, it gives people the opportunity to actually get up and close and personal with someone who's not got a filter on, who's a real person.
You can see every crease, every little hair that might be out of place. You
Yes.
can see. Well, let's walk now over to these photographs here.
So this one's really interesting. This one is called Lash Obsession, and there are 24 photographs of me either with just pure mascara is the first one, and the rest is all different eyelashes. And the idea was to try and show the obsession that we face online, trying to get that perfect selfie.
So these are all real eyelashes that are available to buy?
Yes.
You haven't made these?
No.
Okay, some of them are quite bizarre. There's
Yes.
one of them that looks like spider legs. There's one of them that looks like the Union Jack and you can't even see your eyes. There are ones that, probably are used on stage.
I mean, the whole point of this is I'm actually quite allergic because of my condition. I'm allergic to a lot of makeup. And my makeup artist friend, I said to her, hey, guess what we're going to do in the studio today? We're going to put loads of eyelashes on me. And she said, most models wear 2 pairs in a day. That's it. That's all you'll manage. And I said, well, do you know what? I want 9. She went, okay, we might get there. So we got to 9 and I went, we could get to 12. So we got to 12 and I went, we could get 16. And we kept going and we've got 24 images here. We only stopped because my eyelids were so stuck together that it became painful. And I actually videoed one of my eyelids being unpeeled and it grew about 1/2 inch. And when I take makeup off, I end up with rashes, I end up with eczema type reactions, I end up with red raw skin that burns. And that's part of the story too. I mean, people put themselves through that day in, day out.
So this one's called A Mask of Divine Proportion,
Yes.
and it's 4 photographs of you, and 2 of them have graphic lines all over them, I suppose breaking your face down into certain areas. What is it?
So that is the beauty mask that was designed by a guy, and I'm sure I'm going to pronounce his name wrong, but it's Dr. Marquardt. And he was a plastic surgeon and did lots of research. And he defined that faces were made from pentagons and decagons and were based on the golden ratio. And he came up with this beauty mask that he said that if you actually put that onto someone's face, you could tell if they were beautiful. So if you put that onto my face...
This is the one top right.
The one on the top right. It doesn't actually match my face.
Well, hang on, and it does. You've got your eyes and your nose and your mouth.
But the sides of the face, my face is much larger than it should be to be classed as technically beautiful. So what I did in Photoshop was I then manipulated my face to make it fit the mask. And to be perfectly honest, this manipulated image that I'm left with at the end, I think actually makes me look a little bit like an alien. I look a bit ill. I have a massive forehead. And I don't think it's an improvement on myself. It's not who I expected to see at the end.
Who are you hoping to see at the end, really?
I don't really know.
Julia Roberts?
Oh, no. I don't know. I was just curious to see what I'd have to do to make my face fit that.
Photographer Jo Sutherst talking about fractured identities at Lansdowne Gallery, and we're back with Jo after 11. Now let's get back to this very intriguing art exhibition in Stroud that we've been talking about this morning, because it's exploring social media and the images that we put up on social media. There are now over 3 billion social media users across the world. So, you know, it's no surprise that people want to look their best on there. Well, some people have been altering the images before they put them online, and that's been then leading to anxiety and depression as others try and compare themselves and try and keep up with this image that is just not true. It's just not real. Well, Jo Sutherst is the exhibition artist who has put these photographs together at the Lansdowne Gallery in Stroud, and I met up with Jo last night, and here she is explaining a set of images called altered images, and you're also going to hear about some very bizarre beauty gadgets.
So I read an article, and my friend put me in touch with someone called Esther Honig, who's a journalist in America, and she's stunningly beautiful, and she sent her photograph around the world and asked people to make her more beautiful, and they made quite dramatic changes to her photograph. And I thought, well, I wouldn't class myself as beautiful, but I wonder what they'll do to me. So I sent my image around the world to various places and said to them, make me more appealing for Instagram. And this is the resultant set of images. So some have changed the colour of my skin. One of them's made my face really, really red. Others have put on digital makeup. Others have slimmed my face.
Which are you most happy with?
My original. I don't think I like any of the edits.
Now, I hear that you have some props. Some props that do interfere. Can we go and have a look?
Yes, let's go and have a look.
Because you've got a big bag of them down here. Now, these are all available to buy online, and these aren't jokes. These are real... What did you search for? Like, what did you put in a search engine?
Beauty gadgets.
Beauty gadgets. So this is beauty gadgets.
A lot of these have come from Japan, or they've come from Korea in particular. So this one, I mean, obviously it's all in Japanese, so I don't really know, but it's supposed to improve your cheeks. So the idea is it's actually a duck's mouth, and I'm sorry, but I have the urge to quack when it's in my mouth because it's so ridiculous. But the idea is you put it in your mouth and it pushes your cheeks up. So
Jo's just putting it in her mouth now, and so on the outside you can just see like duck's lips because, well, maybe they've just done that to entertain whoever's near you. But inside, you're clenching it with your teeth, I imagine, and it's pushing your cheeks. Now, it looks like you're smiling. Are you, or is it doing that?
I did a whole video of me quacking. It actually pushes your cheeks into those positions. You have absolutely no choice. But that's not the most bizarre thing.
That's not the most bizarre. Come on, let's have a rummage in this bag.
We have, from Japan, eyelid trainers, which are like glasses, but you actually fit these plastic rods to them.
So they're like a pair of plastic spectacles, but when you put them on, there's obviously no glass in front of, or no lenses. There's a plastic arc that goes around the eyelid, okay, and it sort of pushes up the area, the bone area, the skin around the bone. You look bizarre. Can't stop looking at you.
The thing is, it's supposed to, in Japan and Korea, they don't have that second eyelid that we have in the Western world, and so they really aim for that. So they can either use tape, which I also have in here, or they use these to train their eyelids to give them that double eyelid.
I love it. I'm really pleased you've shown me that.
Things called face bras.
A face bra.
A face bra. So face bras go around your face, and they fit on. And they are supposed to. I've got various different ones. I bought a few.
Do they come in different sizes? Are there cups?
No, there are not cups for them, but there are various different ones. So some are made from quite a thin, sort of rubbery type material, elastically. Some are rubber. Some are neoprene.
Okay, so Jo's just putting the face bra on now, and it goes around the nose and mouth, and she's then tied it around the back of her head. A little bit like, I don't know, if you were in the Wild West and you were wearing a bandana around your face to stop breathing in the sand, it might be like that, or something S&M.
Yeah.
What's this supposed to do?
It's supposed to, I'm going to take it off because they're not very comfortable. You're supposed to wear them when you go to sleep. And the idea is that you can actually slim your face through them.
What else have you got in here? What's the one that goes up your nose?
Well, there's all sorts of stuff that goes up your nose. There are ones that vibrate. Here it is. So this one is meant to make your nose slimmer. So you have two little white things that go up your nose.
Oh my goodness.
And then when that's on your nose...
The sort of thing you might expect to have to wear at the dentist or the orthodontist.
So that goes up your nose like that. And then that goes onto your nose. It's easier to adjust when somebody does it for you.
It's like a pink plastic cage that's going around your nose, and then there are two little sort of like balls that then go up the nostril, and it's vibrating up the nostril.
And it's vibrating down as far as my top lip.
Okay, what on earth is it supposed to do?
It's supposed to slim your nose.
Slim your nose. Like your nose needs a workout.
Yeah.
Please.
Really,
take it out. It looks really
very
painful.
uncomfortable.
You've had a lot of fun doing this, I can tell.
Oh, I think I've had far too much fun.
Far
too much fun.
What's next for you then, Jo? What are you going to do when this is all over?
Well, my aim is once the MA is all handed in, which is the 24th of August, I'm hoping to do a PhD and look at what it means to be human in the digital world and actually the impact that it has, and hopefully take this project, which I think is just the first rung of the ladder, and take that further just to really explore what we're doing and the impact that it has on people.
Very best of luck with
Thank
it.
you.
If people want to come and see the exhibition, it's here at Lansdowne Gallery in Stroud until when?
The 11th of August. And we're open 10 till 4 every day. And I'd love to see people. I'd love to talk to them. Quite happy to talk to them about their own sort of feelings about things, but also what they think about the work.
That's Jo Sutherst, who is the photographer. So the exhibition Fractured Identities is at Lansdowne Gallery in Stroud until August the 11th. And a little bit later on in the programme, we're going to hear from a hypnotherapist at Cotswold Practice in Brimscombe, who helps people with anxiety and depression linked to online comparisons. We're also going to hear from Jemima, who is 16. She's from Mitcheldean. She's a model and she spends 2 hours putting on her makeup. Nick, we've been hearing about an exhibition called Fractured Identities at Lansdowne Gallery in Stroud, and it's looking at how people alter their online images for social media. Well, Jemima Fowler is 16 and from Mitcheldean, and Jemima has a modelling contract, and last year she won Miss International Beauty 2017. Jemima was also at the gallery last night when I spoke to Jo. I also caught up with her as well, and here she is telling me about her makeup regime.
I do my eyebrows first, just so I don't mess them up and I have to wipe everything off. Then I do all my eyes and everything. Then I wipe off all like the stuff, all like the powder that's come off, and then I do my face and everything. So it's a long process.
Do you have a social media account, whether it be Instagram, Facebook?
Everything. I have every social media you can imagine. Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, everything.
And when you put photographs up, do you enhance them?
Most of them, I think it's just a teenage thing really, because we're all trying to impress the world, I guess.
If social media didn't exist, would you still spend 2 hours on your makeup?
Always, just to make sure that if I went out of the house, no one would see me like looking my worst.
What is your worst? What is your worry?
Well, before I became a model, I wouldn't have stepped foot out of the house without makeup on. But now that I've come quite far in the industry, I tend to spend like 20% of the time wearing makeup and like 80% without. So I guess it's just a thing for teenagers to wear makeup all the time. Mainly my age is to impress boys. But the guy I'm with now, he isn't into any of it. So I think it's a thing that all us girls have in our head, that guys like us to look pretty all the time, when really they're not really that bothered.
How many selfies do you take a day?
Probably like 4 or 5. Unless I'm like really made up, then I'll take selfies, but you probably wouldn't catch me taking a non-makeup selfie.
And I've noticed, there's a pose, isn't there? There's the pushing the lips out and, sucking the cheeks in. What do you do when you're taking a selfie?
I'm not a smiler at all. It's more of like a resting, moody face. So I think it's just it's whatever is on trend, and you just follow it, I guess.
Are you not worried about comments?
I've had a few nasty comments in the past, but you tend to just sort of like block them out with the positive ones, and I think that people shouldn't be forced to wear makeup if they don't want to. I mean, I struggled at school with my eyebrows because everybody was shaping theirs, but I didn't, because my mum had always told me not to touch them. But as soon as I got to like secondary school, I was going on having them waxed and shaped and everything, because I thought that I wasn't as good as everybody else because my eyebrows were different.
So you thought you weren't as good as everybody else because your eyebrows looked different to theirs?
Yeah.
And you were, what, 11?
Yeah, probably about 11, 12, yeah. So it's a big pressure for girls, and I think it's a big pressure for boys too, like maybe not for the whole makeup thing, but for like their own appearance. Like guys like to look a certain way, have a certain hairstyle and things like that. I think it's a big pressure for everyone in like teenage years, and I think it's a big pressure for people now that are a lot older as well, who don't really understand social media.
Maybe that's it. Maybe those people who are older, as she's referring to, just don't understand social media. Now, Maddie, who is taking your calls today, and is in her early 20s, she says that she always puts a filter on her photographs before they go online. Always. I don't even know how to access the filters on my phone. And you know what? I went on holiday last week. I was away for a few days, and I've accidentally left my makeup bag in the holiday home. Yeah, and it was going to cost me a fortune to replace it all, and I'm skint, so I haven't bothered replacing it. So I've gone for the last 10 days without makeup at all. Not a hint, not a scrap, maybe a bit of lip balm, and that's it. and just don't care anymore. I think I've got to the point in life where I'm like, look, just take me as I am. Coming up between now and 12 o'clock, you're going to hear about people in our area who are suffering with anxiety and depression because they are comparing themselves to other people online. And it's unrealistically comparing themselves to people online because, as we've just heard, people are using filters and makeup and all sorts of things to make themselves look polished and make themselves look the best. So we'll hear from Dipti, who runs the Cotswold practice in Brinscombe very soon. About how many people change their appearance for social media, not only uploading the most flattering photograph of themselves, but also using filters and enhancers. Well, Dipti Tate is a hypnotherapist and runs the Cotswold practice in Brinscombe, and Dipti helps people with anxiety and depression linked to online comparison with others. And I spoke to her last night at the Lansdowne Gallery in Stroud. Have you got clients who come to you and they're worried about their online appearance?
Definitely. I have a few clients at the moment, and they range very drastically from young teenage girls to young teenage boys, but also I have some 30-year-olds as well, and actually I have a 40-something-year-old as well, so it's not just a young issue anymore.
And what's the main concern that they have?
I think I've called it comparitis, that's my name for it. It's that idea of either not being good enough or not being seen in the right way or being misrepresented, or it's that idea of not knowing who they are anymore, and they've kind of blurred the boundaries between reality and virtual reality. So I think it's starting to kind of come into their awareness of this isn't right, and so therefore anxiety, depression, kind of states of paranoia, feelings of not being good enough, so low self-esteem. So it's showing up in quite difficult places.
Because I suppose we all compare parts of our lives, and we have done for millennia. It's what actually helps us sort of keep up with the herd. I've heard that we compare ourselves so that we're keeping up with everybody else. What is it that's different about comparing yourself to somebody online or on the social media account?
Well, yes, you're right, because actually we work better as tribes than as individuals. So through evolution, if we were part of the tribe, we were safe, we were accepted, and that was a good place to be. If you were not part of the tribe, then you're ostracized, and that's a dangerous place to be because you could be eaten by a tiger. So nowadays, there is a community, I suppose, like for example, these online platforms like Instagram, it is a community feel. So they're taking what they see as a reality, and that's not the case. There's the blurry boundary constantly going on there.
So how do you help them? Because you're a hypnotherapist, so how do you help people feel better about themselves?
I help people firstly come to terms with the fact that there is this online presence. It's not going away, it's there to stay, but actually there is also an offline internal dialogue that's always going on. So if somebody comes to me and it's affecting their mental health and their self-esteem and their value, self-worth and that kind of thing, I really help them see that what they've got inside of themselves is not going away, and if we can cultivate and grow those feelings of strength and personal kind of, I suppose, empowerment, I hate that word because it's so overused, but you know what I mean, that sort of feeling of I know myself, that will really start to reflect in their behaviour on the online world. And actually I've had it where people on Instagram have come in, some Instagram models have come in from being really, really disheartened when they lose 1,000 followers to starting again with their awareness campaigns themselves and helping other people realise that this isn't really who they are, this is just a kind of mask, but kind of being transparent about that, and that's it, isn't it? It's about knowing you can wear a mask, but as long as you understand who you are on the inside as well, that really matters.
Do you think there'll be a time when people just go, you know what, I'm just not going to go on social media anymore?
Yes, I think that's starting to happen. And also, they're being selective in which platforms they choose to go on. Like, for example, I know that there are certain platforms that are good for my business, so I will continue to use those. And, there's positives about using social media. So I'm not saying, oh my God, all social media is terrible. It really isn't. There's amazing benefits and advantages. And it is that community and that connection. But it's just when you find that your own mental health is suffering, that's when you've got to question it.
That's Dipti from the Cotswold practice in Brimscombe. And the exhibition, if you'd like to go and see it, is called Fractured Identities, and it's at the Lansdowne Gallery in Stroud until August the 11th, and it's 10 until 4 o'clock each day.